Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be discussing why Mike Stone is a terrible candidate for SBC president, Southern Baptist president, and Bart Barber is just going to cruise to victory. I'm going to give you a preview of what that answer looks like right now. First of all, Mike Stone ran for president of the Southern Baptist Convention in 2021 and lost by a lot. And he also gave the nominating speech for the losing candidate in SBC 2022 last year when Tom Askell ran. So this is just a preview of why not Tom Askell, Mike Stone is a terrible candidate to run for Southern Baptist president in 2023. It's just another piece of evidence as to why the Conservative Baptist Network is not serious about saving the Southern Baptist Convention. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to let you know, Evangelical Dark Web is a Christian news gathering and commentary ministry. We reported the story on Mike Stone's announcement. Now we're commenting on it a couple weeks later. And you can support us over at our Patreon-like system at evangelicaldarkweb.org/join. Otherwise, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Those are the best ways to really help us out with the magical algorithms and stuff. And also check out that free newsletter. So first, we're going to watch the announcement video of Mike Stone, and it's bad.
After hearing from Southern Baptists across the country, I have prayerfully agreed to accept a nomination for the presidency of the SBC. I'm thankful for the godly men and women who serve our convention, and there's a lot to celebrate in the SBC, from church planting to international missions and beyond. And while I have no desire to disparage anyone, there are also serious causes of grave concern. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to address two of those topics, but I want to briefly introduce them here. First, we must have a biblical approach to the horrific issue of sexual abuse. Like you, my heart is greatly burdened by these matters, and local congregations must be firmly committed to protecting the vulnerable and caring for the abused. In this critical hour, we need leaders who will guide us to care well for victims while at the same time embracing scriptural principles of due process and the handling and publishing of accusations. Leaders that honor biblical ecclesiology, and when outside help is necessary, they're committed to only use those that are driven by facts and informed by the truth. When abuse occurs, it happens in local churches, so our convention needs to resource local autonomous congregations to deal with these matters biblically, legally, and compassionately. The latest audit from your...
So let's talk about that. So biggest issue, the first issue that he mentions is a complete canard. The Sex Abuse Task Force report was a very illegitimate report that was published by Guidepost Solutions. And Guidepost is a pagan law firm. They don't have a credible track record on the issue of sex abuse and sexual immorality because they embrace sexual immorality. They also published a report that is being used in court against the Southern Baptist Convention. The report is absolutely good for nothing. It is not evidence for anything other than in self-incriminating evidence against the Southern Baptist Convention. That report invited all sorts of liability on the Southern Baptist Convention, and for what? It revealed no instances of sex abuse or sex abuse cover-ups, and it just simply defamed people, and they're going to have to pay out the butt because of that report, because there's multiple lawsuits already on the ground that are using that report as evidence against the Southern Baptist Convention. So that report only invited liability, and then they waived attorney-client privilege in 2021 at the annual meeting then. It was a stupid idea then. It's still stupid in hindsight. So the Southern Baptist Convention just lowered its shields, and now the lawyers are taking advantage of it. And now the new lawyers that the Southern Baptist Convention has are arguing that the report is hearsay, and they're trying to strike it from being admitted as evidence, and we talked about that a couple of videos ago. So Mike Stone is probably more privy to this fact than I was, before reporting on it, but Mike Stone is embracing the liberal premise, and that is why he's doomed to fail. Like, he's not going to win on this issue. He should actually be arguing that this was a canard that you guys fell for, that the Southern Baptist Convention was fooled and manipulated into falling for. But instead, he's embracing the liberal premise and just saying, we're going to make it more sustainable.
Executive Committee says we are on an unsustainable financial trajectory. Now, to be clear, people are infinitely more valuable than financial resources, but we can address this issue wisely in a way that doesn't lead us into financial ruin. For Southern Baptists, unsustainable should be unacceptable. In this time of unsustainable direction and division, there's one thing that will bring Southern Baptists together, and that's the thing that we all agree on: our heartfelt commitment to take the gospel of Jesus Christ across America and around the world. So if I'm elected as your next president, my second major focus will be a nationwide evangelism emphasis called Crossover America. Southern Baptists must turn our eyes to the evangelistic harvest field. Now, to be clear, these two issues are not in conflict with one another. We can deal rightly with the abuse issue while staying on mission for Christ. There's more that can and will be said over the next several weeks, but the bottom line today is the largest evangelical network of churches in America is on an unsustainable trajectory. And if you agree with me that unsustainable is unacceptable, I need your help, and I look forward to seeing you in New Orleans.
It's a very Mitt Romney-esque speech, and again, the Southern Baptist Convention just dropped numbers on membership, and it is plummeting. Like, they are decades set back in terms of sheer raw numbers. And then, of course, church planning, very disappointing numbers there as well. That's been known for a while. So the numbers for the Southern Baptist Convention are pretty bad at the moment. They're pretty bad at the moment. And what's going to change that? Well, is the same old good old boys network going to change that? Nothing mentioned about financial impropriety. There's nothing mentioned about personal accountability. There's nothing mentioned about even just standing bold and opposing the spirit of the age, the zeitgeist. There's nothing about any of that in his speech. He's adopting all of the liberal premises, and he's trying to fight from that. And that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. You got to drive. You have a turnout issue. Who's going to turn out because of that speech? So there's a lot of issues going on with Mike Stone's candidacy. I do have an I did note some in the article that I wrote announcing his candidacy. So obviously, Mike Stone has a giving to the cooperative program issue that's going to be used against him. So that's a huge issue that the people on the floor will realize. Obviously, I think it's pretty wise for a conservative church not to fund the cooperative program because you're funding the bad guys in the Southern Baptist Convention. But that also makes you unelectable as president. It's also worth noting that Mike Stone in 2021 sued Russell Moore for defamatory statements and then withdrew his lawsuit. So that's also baggage on top of Mike Stone's resume. But let's just close it out how I started. Mike Stone ran for SBC president in 2021, and he lost by a lot. It was a 60-40 liberal to conservative majority, because 60% of candidates or 60% of messengers voted for a liberal candidate on the first ballot, and then the Al Mohler vote broke for Ed Litton at the Southern Baptist Convention of 2022. It was an even worse result for the Conservative Baptist Network, as Tom Askell completely got trounced, and it wasn't close. It was pretty embarrassing. And that definitely had larger turnout going west. This time, I guess they're imagining that the turnout will be better. They're probably envisioning that the Al Mohler block that was able to show up for Nashville is not going to show up for New Orleans as much, and therefore they can maybe tip the numbers in their favor ever so slightly. I think Bart Barber is just going to cruise to victory, and this is my plea for Southern Baptists: is that someone who's a messenger, get on that floor and nominate someone, and just use your nominating speech to call out Bart Barber and to call out the corruption in the Southern Baptist Convention, to call out the lies that Southern Baptists have been falling for. Because if you nominate someone for SBC president, you get like 2 to 5 minutes of uninterrupted speaking time on the floor of the convention. And that is quite valuable. And that's what Southern Baptists should really be utilizing. Be a spoiler candidate for Bart Barber by just attacking him and his character, and then let just knock them below 50%, and then your votes can go to someone else like Mike Stone in the runoff. But that is not a campaign poised to win, nor will it. And that's all I got to say about that for now. Maybe in the future we'll get some second opinions on that on this channel. So you definitely want to subscribe for that. Have a blessed day. Let me know what you think about what I think, and I will catch you on the next one.